you know, if you're listening to this, if you're watching this and you want support and you need support, please do connect with it. There's no stigma in that, so there's no weakness in that. You don't have to reach a critical point before thinking, oh, actually, I better speak with someone, whether it's a close friend, family member, organisation. That actually there's a lot of people that would say there's value in making that initial call and having that initial conversation. I don't need to feel mad, to feel like I'm on the brink before I connect. You know, we don't have to wait for that. That said, there's evidentially some points when we can get to when actually grief becomes more complex to us, and it can have a longer term impact. And some of those indicators are things like when we experience quite a low mood for a longer period of time that's more difficult to hold with whatever else we're doing in life. There can be increased anxiety with that too, and they can go hand in hand. For some people, it's not unusual to experience thoughts of death that might then bridge on to thoughts around suicide or self-harm. And if you've had those before the experience of bereavement, they may well come back. They're more likely to, evidentially. It's not to say that then you're at immediate risk, but those thoughts may be more present. But also, there's more likelihood that you might re-experience some of the sensory input that you had around the time of the bereavement. You know, we talk sometimes about post-traumatic stress, the seeing of the bereaved person, the person that died, or the smelling of them, the sort of sense of them near us. That's not to say that if you've experienced that, you've got a real worry. I mean, there's lots of people who experience that on a daily basis, and that's part of their grieving. But what this can all culminate in is that the way in which your life as it currently stands then becomes really hard to manage and hard to do alongside the grief. And that's where within Cruse we often see that sort of difference is where folk will phone us or come to see us when we can meet face to face, and say, I'm finding it really difficult to cope, and I've found it difficult to cope for a long time. And so it's often the coping and the difficulty with coping with job, coping with looking after family and children, socially connecting with people, finding meaning in life, not just in the short term, but in the longer term. These are the things that often come up that are a message to us that it might be becoming increasingly complex for the person.
Thanks. Great. Anything Shelby or Julia wants to add to that? No? Yeah.
It's 7 to 10% is complex grief, the research shows, and it tends to be more women than men.